It has been a wee while since I've sat down and filmed a video. It feels kind of weird because I've been used to, I did Vlogtober for the whole month of October, more or less, and so if you watch them you'll know that, but it's a very, very different kind of style of filming videos. That feels much more natural because I'm kind of taking you on a day that I'm already living and I'm just taking you along as a part of that. But when I actually sit down and talk to a camera, it feels much more strange. I quite like it because I can have a proper conversation and talk about one specific thing, and I'm really excited to talk about what I'm talking about today because I think it's something that might be quite helpful for a lot of you. But yeah, it's been a while, so I might be a little bit rusty, but I am really excited about filming. It feels like back to normal and I like it. But today I've decided to talk about different areas of self-care. I think when people talk about self-care, it's a very broad subject that could be quite difficult to properly get your head around and think about and know what's best for you. And so I found that putting self-care, what it means to me, into categories might be quite helpful for you guys. I've put them into four different categories just from what I feel, but you could have many, many more. You could have 2, you could have 5, whatever. These are kind of the main headlines for myself to kind of keep myself on track and to have a kind of idea of what self-care means to me. So I put self-care into 4 different categories, and I feel like if you're ever stuck, if you're ever feeling overly anxious, if you're ever feeling not good, if you're having a bad day, if you know you need some self-care, it might be helpful to look at each one of these categories and see what ones you have and haven't done that day, and maybe try and tick off one from each box. This might be quite complicated before I actually explain, so I'm going to actually explain what I'm talking about now. So the first category I have is physical. In here I have things like eating, sleeping, hygiene, all that kind of stuff. These are all the kind of literal things that you should kind of be doing every single day. Things like showering, eating as well as you can, drinking as much water as you can. If you feel like you're neglecting areas of your physical self-care, I find it really useful to write a list of all the things that you should be doing every single day, because sometimes it is easy when you're going through a difficult time in your mental health to remember even all the things you're meant to do, to remember you're meant to have 3 meals a day, to remember you're meant to shower every day, all these kinds of things. It's kind of, I find it a bit easier if I write them all down and then try my best to do as many of them as possible. If I'm having a really bad day, it doesn't always get done, but I find it very useful to be able to see all the physical things that I need to do. I know I will feel better if I eat well, drink enough water, take my medication. That's something I forget to do quite a lot when I'm having a bad time. I think remembering to take your medication can be quite difficult, but if you have them all on a list, maybe make sure you can kind of tick all of them off and then you can start your day properly. Maybe it's just a good idea to have an idea of what you want to do in the morning or whatever. I just find it quite helpful. The second area I have is lifestyle. This is so different for everybody. You might be somebody that works 5 days a week, you might be somebody that doesn't work at all. Lifestyle is very, very different depending on whether you're in a relationship, what your work is like, how often you socialise, how often you work on your own projects. But I find that having an idea of what your lifestyle is like, and maybe what you'd like your lifestyle to be like, what you think would maybe help you with your lifestyle, because the thing is, I know that when I want to have a self-care day, it means that I want to relax completely. I want to just take the day to do whatever I feel like doing. That might just be sitting on the sofa all day watching TV, that may be drawing, knitting, doing something crafty, whatever it is. I want to be able to kind of relax. That's all about what my kind of self-care days are all about. But I know for other people it might be that you want to get out of the house, you want to go for a big run, you might want to write a song, all these different things. I think in lifestyle I've kind of got the category of balance, finding the balance, what's right for you. I find that writing down what your lifestyle is currently like, having an idea of how often you socialise, how often you work, what your hours are like, all that kind of stuff. And then ideally what you would maybe you'd like more days to relax, maybe you'd like to read more, maybe you'd like to try and go out with your friends more. It's all that kind of stuff of having an idea of what the best, most realistic lifestyle is for you, and try and include that in your self-care schedule. Next I have mental self-care. This is kind of the stuff of like counselling, maybe going to counselling or journaling, things that you are doing for yourself that are keeping you on the right track towards bettering your self-care, towards bettering your mental health. I've found that counselling is definitely something that helps me, although I sometimes feel like when I'm on the way to counselling I don't want to go, and then 9 times out of 10 when I come out I feel like a completely different person and I feel great. I also take citalopram, which is an antidepressant, which also really helps me, and I do a lot of writing down lists, journaling, all that kind of stuff, which is really, really helpful for me too. I find that having that kind of category of my life that's very personal to me, that is exploring more of what maybe makes me anxious, exploring more exposure therapy, things to do by myself, self-help stuff, and counselling. I find it all quite interesting, and it's all stuff that is very, very important in my self-care. And the last kind of category I have is support. I find that this is quite a difficult subject because I think that one, that's not the most important thing. I think the most important thing is the other 3 categories and how much you support yourself. But things like family, friends, partners, therapists, doctors, teachers, there's so many different people that are in your everyday lives that you might not think about, and maybe think about how they support you. I've been doing a lot of that recently. That's why I stayed in the Airbnb by myself recently, because I feel like I've been depending a lot on my parents and my partner, and I feel like it's important to maybe step away from that support for a little while to see how I cope. I think just introducing these ideas are what I kind of wanted to get across in this video. I wanted for you to kind of have those ideas of categories and then find out what they mean to you. I don't know if it's helpful, but I found that when I started thinking about it, I found it quite useful to kind of get my head around and understand these 4 different categories. I would be really interested to know down below what kind of categories you put your mental health into. You also don't have to do that. I feel like if you're the kind of person that wouldn't find it helpful to put things into categories and stuff, then absolutely ignore this video. But I've found that if I have the 4 different parts of my mental health, I can kind of see, okay, I've been doing really well at keeping my physical mental health really good, and I've been looking after myself, and I've been showering every day and eating really, really well, but I've really, really neglected relaxing and to be able to just sit and be by myself. So it's kind of like, oh, my mental health's not very good, what kind of categories do I think I've been neglecting? That's kind of the thing that I find useful about it. Let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Bye!